Hi everybody, thanks for joining us today. I'm joined by Kirstie and Taylor from Entyce, and we're going to be talking about design trends for 2024, which is very much their expertise. And I'm just joining to host. So design trends 2024 and how to use them to boost your business.
I think you've got to remember with obviously predictions for design trends, they are notoriously difficult and no one actually knows whether or not they're going to go work, or what we can do is we can give you an idea of where they're going and our opinions on which ones we think stick out.
Yeah. So the first one, what's your thoughts?
I'm going to start with giant or bubble typography for impact. This is not the typography you used to use, the bubble typography you used to draw when you were in high school. This is a completely different type that's basically taken over a lot of the design industry at the minute. It's kind of a typography that speaks through shape and colour rather than words. It's really good for giving a fun and playful kind of vibe to your work. If we just have a look at the mood board that I've created.
It's not great for readability, is it?
It's not great for readability, but it's really good for
designers to use it.
Full branding, taking over your work through shapes. Like you can use the typography through patterns in the background. It's not just for headers anymore. It kind of creates the design, and I really like it, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I love it.
A good case study that I found is the RTS Cambridge Convention by Studio Kiln. I think this is a really good example of where you can use this typography. It works really well with events like this because you can play around with using it on full screens, on book covers, windows, pillars. It kind of works well as text as well as patterns in the background, and I just think it goes.
It's quite playful, isn't it? And exciting. I think for something like we've done our obviously Entyce culture book, but if you joined an organisation, they had like a cool, like little handbook like the one there, and it had that. You'd immediately be excited. I think it gets you kind of excited. Plays into like childish kind of. Yeah, like
you don't have to use images with this. They've purely used the type across everything, and it works so well.
Yeah. But like you say, it's more sophisticated than like the bubble writing that I used to do at school on in front of my books. But I love it.
Like
It's really,
but
it does make you feel really nostalgic. It is really nostalgic.
Yeah. So this is one of my favourite trends that are coming into 2024, I think. And then we'll follow on to this with my next trend, which is vibrant and bold colour palettes. This has obviously been trending for years, but obviously it's been getting more and more popular each year, especially with the Barbie movie that's just come out. This is a new pink that has kind of come into a trend. It's a bit more playful than the other pinks that have been used in recent years. It's just made brands kind of prompt them to kind of go louder and bolder with their designs. Like if you look at the mood board that I've kind of created here, you can just kind of see how this pink brings out the design completely, especially paired with other bold blues.
I feel like it's good for like products as well.
Yeah,
and like social. And like I feel like it's really going to bring out colours.
Yeah, like especially paired with like the fluorescent colours, like the fluorescent yellows and greens. I just think combined with all that, it's a really, really playful colour to use in your branding as well as like graphics. And I just think it's a really nice trend. That leads me on to the next colour that I've come across, which is like fluorescent colours. I think a lot of brands have stayed away from this in the past because it's such a bright statement colour, but I've noticed this has been becoming more and more popular over the years, especially at the minute. It kind of gives your brand a more like fresh and cheerful, like inspirational look, and kind of gets you a bit noticed. I think originally like 7-Up were kind of like fizzy drinks, food brands. They kind of have used these colours in the past, but I think now more corporate brands are using it. For example, the next slideshow is a example. It's a brand called Bolt. And the agency Koto have done a redesign for their brand, basically using this colour. It works really well with black, it makes it stand out, and this is an e-commerce shopping website as well. It's not even, it's just a standard. But they've gone quite bold with this and used the yellow, and I just think it works really well. And
it's really cool. I think on billboards and things like that,
people
are seeing them all the time, aren't they? Yeah, so it does totally catch your eye.
Definitely, like when you're walking past that and you see that on that billboard, like that's just straight away eye-catching.
And you want to find out more about the brand.
Yeah, it's fresh and new, especially with that typography. I really like what they've done with this. So
love that.
Yeah.
So the next trend is Adobe and how AI is going nowhere in 2024. It's here to stay, and it's going to be forever improving. Some people think it's going to like reduce like jobs and stuff like that, but for us designers, I think for the minute it's going to be helping us, if anything, streamlining idea creation and like making our lives easier. But like I want to show some new Adobe features.
I think with that as well, like you've got all of these graphics that they're putting on Adobe, but you're quite limited. It's like say if you're typing in like generator like a rabbit on a hill, it'll only have like 4 of them graphics, and then that's the thing. They've got this now, but it's still quite limiting. I think they're still in the process of kind of generating these images.
So the first tool to use is add and expand images with Adobe Photoshop. So the generated fill and expand tools, as you can see in the GIF below, you can just type something in and it'll produce whatever you want to basically make an image unrecognizable to what you actually have took or if took from.
So how does that work? Just explain that again.
Just right click and then you produce get generative fill and you type in whatever you want.
Wow, that's
it's quite
clever.
good, but like I said, it's quite limiting still. It's good, but it's still quite limiting, I think.
But I think as 2024 goes on, it'll
of course it will
get better. I think the majority of them are in beta at the minute. But the next feature for Illustrator, this is another similar feature, but this is better for like idea creation. So you can generate images using text and then create vector images. This will be able to streamline your idea creation and give you ideas more than.
I think it'd be quicker as well if you don't have time to sit there and make illustrations. It's quite a good way of doing something really quickly.
And then the next point. Oh no, sorry. Could you mind going back the slides and changing the text on an image with the retype tool? If Adobe recognizes the font, if it's an Adobe font, it can easily be changed now with a click of the button.
Is this if you outline it and then because usually when you outline it, you can't go back from that point. It's a struggle that I've been.
I feel at the minute it's only for Adobe fonts, so I think as the year goes on, it might change. But then a big one for us, I think, it will be the mock-up generator tool with Adobe Stock. I think we often use Envato to mock up.
Or Photoshop's been the only kind of Adobe has ever really done this. It's a good feature that Illustrator is now.
Yeah, but with you can now with Illustrator, you can go straight on from using the app with Adobe Stock to get your ideas and mock-ups.
It's quite good as well because on Photoshop you would have had to warp it in the past, or you would have had to create a kind of area for it to move around, whereas this just automatically does this now and it saves a lot of time. It looks really good. I think it's my favourite feature that they've added.
So like Taylor said, all these little features and enhancements are like just streamlining your creativity, but you still need the vision, you still need the I
think it's a help, but if you've got time.
And then I feel like this will, with editing as well, I think the time will get easier. Cut corners really with transcript editing on Premiere Pro. So if you add your video into Premiere Pro and you've got dialogue in there, you can take Adobe AI will get have a transcript ready for you, and you can make rough cuts with the, as you can see on the GIF in the left hand corner. And then alongside that, the transcript, you've got you can add subtitles easier now. So I think that'll be
no more paying for subscriptions to
subtitles. Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
It's a good feature.
And then finally, another feature is the color matching. So if you want to take just say like a filter from a movie or something, you can take like a screenshot from that and then add it into your Premiere Pro, and then the color will match.
So that was if you're doing, like if you wanted like a Wes Anderson color palette, you could just drag that in and it will match.
So you could literally make something like Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. So the next trend is diversity and inclusion. I feel like that's like a necessity for any design this year. I think more than ever now with like the current climate of the world. If Hannah, next slide, please, thank you. I feel like as designers, it's our responsibility to include all genders and ethnicities, and engage people from different ethnicities to feel like they're represented within our designs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that. And we've done that really well with like the Zodiac campaign, for example, going back to the bold, bright colours, and the industry they work in, obviously the financial sector can sometimes be a bit dull, but you guys have brought all these bold colours into it, and then the representation of different kind of characters and people through the campaigns.
It's just, I think it's important to make everyone feel recognised, whether it's like your age or the way you look or your gender or I think it's just
feel
really
like
important.
This campaign by Lucy and Yak, the Bear and All campaign, is talking about
one of my favourite brands.
Like using Andy Warhol.
Andy Warhol kind of designs, similar to that.
And like to include all genders and then ethnicities, people of different shapes and sizes, to make them feel included. I feel like they've had a few other campaigns as well with these type of...
Yeah, they're really big on this, diversity and inclusion, which I kind of love about them. Cool. And they bring it out through their clothing brands. That's the thing. It's not just a campaign. It's like they build their clothes. Like if you look at their design on their clothes, it's based off their campaigns, and it's just really clever. It's a really nice brand.
Yeah. It sort of reminds me of going back to the Benetton days as well, that like Benetton campaigns, which were really cool.
Yeah.
So I think this is my bit. To B Corp or not to B Corp. So if you've seen our posts on Entyce, sort of LinkedIn or any of our socials, you'll know that last August we certified as B Corp. And again, you can't help but going into shops, supermarkets, out and about, noticing this little B logo on products and packaging. You'll notice it because loads of upcoming brands are achieving B Corp status and going through that process. It's kind of, we describe it to people as like, what was the investors in people stamp of certification for businesses to prove that they looked after their employees, they looked after the local community. But this is more of a sort of robust certification, so it covers lots of areas of governance, down to environmental. But you'll find a lot of these brands, they're getting noticed because they're a bit sort of disruptive. They're doing something a little bit different. They want to do business differently. They want to use their business as force for good. So you'll notice brands like Tony's Chocolonely and Innocent Smoothies and
Graze.
Graze.
That's another
really
thing
nice
as well. It solely used to be, it has been food brands, and it's a lot more design agencies are now wanting to become B Corp rather than Corp,
Exactly. Well, I suppose design agencies are the ones that potentially creating the packaging for these brands, like Love Raw are a local brand. You've got like Sykes Cottages, and we were at their offices last week, and their offices are really bright and bold and colourful. They want to be great places to work. They also, the products they want to sell, they want them to be really great, different sort of products. So I think it is leading the way in design as it's working kind of hand in hand with the marketing and the product innovation. So it's all lending itself part of the same kind of ethos. So B Corp, obviously becoming B Corp does give your brand a sort of competitive edge. It gets you noticed. I'm going into shops and buying sort of drinks and products, and I'm drawn to the packaging. So packaging is generally quite different and unique. And I'm starting to buy more of these products without knowing it because I notice them on the shelves. And also generally, design agencies or businesses like Sykes or other brands out there that are becoming B Corp, they are doing something different. Patagonia, clothing brands and things like that. So I think if anyone's looking at becoming B Corp certified, 100%. Great thing to look at starting the process of. There only are over 2,000 B Corps in the UK out of 5.5 million businesses, so it's still really, really early days. Speaking of which, we do have an event, little event plug here, which we are near sellout. So if you're interested in learning more about sort of how becoming a B Corp or working with other B Corps and collaborating can enhance your kind of business, we've got an event. It's Thursday the 8th of Feb and it's at Artisan again, and it's our next Be Social, 5 till 7 p.m. So the Eventbrite link we'll share on LinkedIn again today, so you can get your tickets there if you're interested in coming along.
Yeah.
Thank you both. That was really, really interesting, and really enjoyed that. For first webinar of the year, was it? I think it's our first one. Yeah,
first ever webinar.
Brilliant, and your first ever webinar. Amazing, guys. Thank you so much for that. So we'll pop your sort of questions in the comments box, and we'll respond to any if you've got any after you've watched the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you.